Mario is a very well-traveled character. He's been to the Mushroom Kingdom, space, inside of Paper, inside of Bowser, and on his off time he likes to play tennis and race karts with his enemies just for funsies. It seems like he's done everything. But did you know that Mario once had greater ambitions? Well, today on Gaming Mysteries, we'll be talking about Mario's cancelled adventure for the CDI. Mario Takes America, which is unfortunately not a kaiju film like Mario vs. Gamera, although I would watch that. Now, Mario Takes America was to be an action platformer, intended to be the third Mario game for the CDI, following Hotel Mario and the cancelled Mario's Wacky Worlds. The game was to be developed by a Toronto-based developer named Seagam, who approached Philips about making a quote-unquote edutainment game starring Mario. Impressed by their pitch, they immediately granted the company funds so they could begin work on their rather ambitious project, with development beginning in 1992. The idea behind the game would be to educate younger audiences about American culture, and who better to educate American audiences about American culture than Canada? Under the guise of being a quote-unquote fun 3D platformer, and would feature Mario traveling all over the country, running around in levels based on real-life locations, with Mario being rendered as a cartoon in the real world. To describe the game's visual style, one of the artists compared the title to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and would look something like this, although due to the limitations of the CDI, Mario would have been much smaller and of a lower resolution. But the story would have Mario arriving in New York City, and then traveling all across the United States, to Niagara Falls, a Detroit auto factory, caverns, a Florida space shuttle ride, Fort Knox, Louisiana, Texas, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles, that would all culminate in a final battle where Mario would have to defeat a combination of all enemies he had met across the USA, because Mario was all about making enemies before starring in his very own movie, because there's no way that could possibly go awry. The actual game portion of this video game was rather fascinating, as it would make use of real-world footage and have sections being both first-person style on-rail stages with Mario shown from the front or behind, as well as more traditional 2D platforming bits. The first-person portions were fairly simple based on what information there is, and would have Mario taking a helicopter ride, riding a speedboat, a vintage steam train, a motorcycle race, a neon race. I don't know what a neon race is, but okay. And a car race. I do know what a car is. These on-rail sections were allegedly coded and playable. To quote a developer, "We did manage to get Mario to work on several different levels in perspective. He could drive into the scene a bit and back to avoid obstacles, but it was a nightmare to code and keep him exactly on the highway or rivers sometimes." The 2D sections would play like a more traditional Mario game, that being a good old-fashioned 2D side-scroller. Although, based on the information available, it seems that the focus of the game was primarily on the on-rail sections. An example of how the gameplay would work is explained during the Texas scene, in which Mario would fight on top of a train, with the camera pointed forward on one of the passenger cars, where you would see Koopas climbing up on the side of the car in front of you. Upon reaching Mario, you would fight, with each enemy having a different fighting style. So what could have been the downfall of this edutainment Mario adventure?
Here's the problem. Too many toasters.
Well, unfortunately for it, the game was far too ambitious, especially given the hardware that they were working with. To quote again, "When it came for the programmers to do the game, the background footage took so much memory to run, we were left with very little memory to do the game. The very first programmer quit right after he read the specs on the CDI players, probably within the first 3 weeks. The art department was soon chopping out animation frames left and right, leaving the end result looking iffy. Still better than anything else in 1992, but not what I had hoped for. Eventually, after 2 years in development, I guess Philips got tired of waiting for delivery. The sales of the CDI player were sucking, and without Mario, which was supposed to be the killer app, they were getting even worse. Philips would end up cutting their funding for the game, leaving CGAM to cease their work on it, although they were hopeful that they would find another publisher with new funds and rework the game under a new identity, leading them to at one stage trying to form a partnership with Sega to replace Mario with Sonic the Hedgehog instead, although these plans fell through the window as attempts to contact Sega failed, with Sega kind of ignoring them. This led to a final-ditch effort to save the game by creating their own original character, Metal. To quote, "Metal was a rock and roll star who looked like Dee Snider from Twisted Sister. He had a big roadie assistant named Heavy, who would help out from time to time." As I said, we simply renamed all the sprites and had the programming department plug the new sprites into the code. Despite these changes, however, the project seemed like a goner, with CGAM Entertainment closed for bankruptcy and the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce proceeding to mortgage all of the company's assets. But that was Mario Takes America, a game that, if you're sad never came out, I think Mario still took America by storm just fine, as well as the rest of the world, so things worked out, all things considered. Plus, you don't have to buy a CDI now, which is always a plus. If nothing else, it is a shame that no footage of the game ever got released publicly, just so we could get a clearer view of what the game would have been like, but maybe someday something will leak. Stranger things have happened, like lackluster games based on Nintendo properties on a non-Nintendo platform, so here's hoping. This has been Gaming Mysteries. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, and welcome back to End Slate, where there might be a slight buzzing in the background because I have some technical issues right now. I'm working those out, but I needed to record End Slate. And you may notice that this End Slate's a little different. There's no videos on the top of the screen. This is because rather than having the rug pulled out from underneath me on May 2nd when annotations stopped being a thing on YouTube, I figured I should just try the card system, even though I haven't used it at all. Which will lead to some extra nice rambling today, because I don't know what I'm rambling at, or what I can ramble about, I should say. I already warned Patreon supporters about this travesty, but I'm gonna try and do End Slate. You just watched the video on a canceled Mario game for the CDI called Mario Takes America. I apologize for the lack of footage. The game doesn't have any footage, but that did give me an excuse to use almost all of Hotel Mario's cutscenes. So, in that regard, it feels like a winner. But only in that regard. I hope you enjoyed the shorter video, nonetheless. I have other videos I'm working on. But first I gotta go to the doctors and take care of that shit for the next week. That's stupid. Bottom of the screen is social media. Nico does the art. Where is it? Well, no, I should still be on there. But yeah, Nico does the art. If you're interested in Nico, you should go follow Nico on the social media. And then I also have social media such as Twitter and Facebook and a Twitch and a gameplay channel that I've actually managed to mention like 3 times in the past week, I think. So that's not bad. Now, as for the last video I did on this channel, technically the last video I did on this channel was episode 1 of End Slate, but until that becomes more of a thing I'm okay acknowledging, the last video I did in this channel, which is a Gaming Mysteries Redux on Resident Evil 4. You can check out either one. Maybe they're on the screen right now. I don't know what I can do with cards. And then, you know, I don't know if I'll be able to do this either, but hey, if you like Resident Evil, maybe you'd want to check out my Let's Play of Resident Evil 4. Like the Gaming Mysteries on Resident Evil 4. I don't know. Maybe. If I can even link it. See, I don't know. But, you know, I'm gonna try. I want to testing out this card system, seeing if there's some kind of length I gotta work within, see if it's gonna hold back the slate. So, you know, I gotta think about this. I gotta deal with it. Today, I just want to give a general thank you to everyone, because I don't want this going on too long. I mostly just want to fuck around with cards. But next time, names will be thanked, and end slates will be had, and a video will be up, because that's how that works. And then at some point, maybe I'll do another end slate video. I don't know. But this has been End Slate, the regular one. Thank you for watching. Also, if you want to subscribe, or I don't know. Willie selling it. If you want to subscribe or like the video or share it, it's all greatly appreciated. But I feel like an idiot when I ask people about it. And then I have the Patreon. But I feel like an idiot when I ask people. I'm gonna go now. See you all later. Daddy loves you.